Hey guys, I am excited to show you another really easy Christmas gift idea. This is a gift idea that can work for just about everyone on your list, and it's one that I have given probably every year for the last 5 years. So seriously, I don't think anyone is surprised when they open up a package and see a zippered pouch in it from me. But they really are one of the most useful gifts, and I love to give useful gifts, especially if I'm making something handmade. I want to know that it's something that people are going to want to use and be able to use. And so this is a really practical gift, and it's one that I love giving. So I'm going to show you how to make a zippered pouch like this. So this one is for pens. I ordered from Dayspring some coloring books, and I ordered some gel pens off Amazon. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the coloring books, put the pens in the pouch, and give this as a gift. So it's a really just a neat way to make it a little bit more than giving a coloring book and pens. Makes it a little bit more personal and a little bit nicer. So this is a zippered pouch. It has a coordinating lining inside. The great thing with zippered pouches is that once you figure out how to make them, you can customize them and make them any size you want. And there's so many different variations that you can do. And I'm going to show you some of that towards the end. I also have a really fun surprise if you watch to the end that I will let you in on. And so I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. This really is a pretty simple, straightforward project, but I want to walk you through all the steps in case you are intimidated by zippers, but you're interested in maybe adding this to your Christmas list this year, to the gifts that you're going to give. So I've already cut the fabric, and what you have are 4 pieces. You've got, there are 4 pieces. You have 2 pieces for the outside and 2 pieces for the inside. And these are rectangles. They're 10 inches by 5 inches. And I chose this length because, like I said, I'm going to be making this into a pen bag. So again, that's 10 inches by 5 inches, and you have 2 of each. 2 of the outer, 2 of the inner. And then the only other thing that you have is a zipper. Now this is a 9-inch zipper, so it's going to fit perfectly with our bag. So I'm going to show you the first step. I'm going to try to point the camera down here. So the very first step you're going to do is you're going to take one of your outer pieces, and you're going to line up the zipper on your outer piece, and you're going to put the zipper right side down. So basically you're looking at the wrong side of the zipper, and you're going to sandwich the zipper in between the outer piece and one of the lining pieces. And so you're going to make sure that the top edge of the zipper is right lined up with the top edge of the outer fabric, and then the top edge of the lining fabric is going to go right on top of that. Now this fabric doesn't matter which one I use, which side, they're both the same. But if it did matter, then this would be the right side down. Okay, so I would have the outer piece right here. And you can picture that if you were to fold it up, you would be able to see that the outside, the right side of the zipper will be facing the right side of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a couple of pins right here, sandwiching these pieces, and try to get it lined up nicely. Okay, so I'm just gonna add about two pins. It's not a very long piece of fabric. Okay, and now I have a sandwich between the outer fabric, the zipper, and the lining fabric. And I'm going to just sew right down the line. I want to get close to the zipper, but obviously you don't want to sew on the zipper. So I'm going to sew this with about a quarter inch seam. And we're going to go back, after we sew this, we're going to go back and top stitch it. So it may seem like it's a not a very wide seam, but that's okay. I'm going to remove my pin and just make sure that all of those are lined up nicely together. Now my zipper is all the way at the end. You can see it right here. So when I get a little bit closer, I'm going to pull it through to the part that I've already sewn, because otherwise it would make my seam go crooked. So I'm close enough now. I'm going to lift up and just pull it out just a little bit, just so that I can slide that zipper down. Okay, and then I'm going to put it back where I left off and finish sewing all the way down. So now I can show you. You have the first part of your thing. And you only have to do that one more time and you've done a zipper. And that wasn't that hard, was it? So now what we're going to do is we're going to press these edges so that we can go down and top stitch, and that'll just give it a nice finished look. So I'll point the camera this way and you can just see, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of try to pull it tight right here and press this down. Always want to iron as you sew. Makes everything look just so much more finished and professional. And you can see I'm kind of pulling it so that these bottom edges line up. They should be the same size. I'm going to flip it over and just press the back edge as well. Okay, and now I'm going to top stitch along this right here. Okay, so just right close to the zipper, I'm going to try to get right next to this top edge. And so you're securing the lining and the outer fabric together, and you're making it look just a little bit more polished. So same thing, once I get closer to the zipper, I'm going to pull it to the other side that I've already sewn so it doesn't make my stitching crooked. Okay, and there you have it. You have one side of your zipper completed. And so now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. So you're going to get your outer fabric and lay it right side up just like we did before. We're going to sandwich this again. This time the zipper is going to be on the other side, but it's still wrong side down. So I'm going to line that up along the top edge. And I'm going to sandwich the lining fabric on right on top. And again, my lining fabric doesn't matter, but you would have the right side down. Okay, and then you're going to pin it so that you sandwich these together. And you're going to do the same thing, sewing with about a 1/4 inch seam, straight down, moving the zipper halfway through, and then we'll press the top edge again. So like I said, this is a really quick project, one that you can, I should have left my pen in. Let me fix this sandwich. It's a quick project and one that you can change to fit anyone on your list. I am making some zipper pouches for my boys this year. I found some Harry Potter fabric. We just finished reading the first Harry Potter first book of the Harry Potter series, and so they're very into Harry Potter this year. And so I'm just going to make them some little pouches that they can put pins in, or Legos, or rocks or anything. There's really no telling with my boys what they'll fill their pouches with. And I've also, every year I've given one to my mother-in-law. They're just so useful. And if you can't think of, you know, something else, something to get for someone on your list, give them a zippered pouch, and I'm sure that they'll be able to find something to fill it with. Okay, so there we go again. The next side is done. We're going to press it again and then top stitch along that line, and then you're done with the zipper. All that will be left to do is to get this flipped around. All that will be left to do at this point is just sew your bag. So all you're doing at that point is just going around all 4 edges of your bag, and that's it. And that's all you have to do to make a zippered pouch. If you're watching this live and you have any questions, just let me know, and I'd be happy to try to answer them for you. So you can see here my there's a little bit of extra overhang on this edge, and I'll just trim that real quick before I sew it. Okay, and I'm going to sew again straight down this top edge to finish this zipper. Move the zipper down halfway. Okay, I'm going to move the zipper down so I can finish that top edge. Okay, and there you go. So now you have your zipper is finished. So that's all you have to do for your zipper. And now we're going to sew the bag. Okay, so Katie says, what's the other material you're using underneath the pattern fabric? Both of these are home decor weight fabrics, so it's a little thicker than just a regular cotton. So I like to, when I make bags and totes and things like that, I like to use home decor weight or even duck cloth. I will say though that I mentioned the Harry Potter fabric. So this is the Harry Potter fabric I got, and it's just a regular cotton, but I'm going to pair it with a thicker fabric for the inside to give the bag a little bit more weight. Alright, so like I mentioned, I'm going to check and see anywhere right here where my bag is, I have a little bit of overhang right here. I want to make sure that they're lined up nice and neat when I go around. So I'm going to use a rotary cutter. If you don't have a rotary cutter, I would really suggest one, especially when you're cutting out fabrics. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to lift up your fabric, which means that you can get a much straighter cut. And I will, I'll link to one that I have. They are really sharp, so of course you want to be very careful with it, and make sure if you've got kids that your kids don't mess with it, because they are really sharp. But when you're cutting out fabric, there really is nothing better than a rotary cutter. Okay, so I have, I found the llamas at Joann's, I believe, and I was going to make a bag with them, and then I got tucked away, and I never did. But I actually just cut out fabric tonight to make my tote bag, so I'm excited about that. So now what you're going to do, we've been working with our fabric like this. You're going to grab both of the right side, the outer fabrics, and pull them so that they are sandwiched together. And you're going to do the same with your lining, okay? And you're going to pin it all the way around. So don't worry so much about the fact that your zipper in the middle is kind of poofing up. What you want to do is just start at the corners, get the corners lined up, go all around, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the zipper. So I have the bottom lined up, and I'm going to come and do the same thing for the lining. I'm going to line the corners and pin them. And then what I'm going to do for this part is I'm going to do it so that the zipper is facing in towards the lining. Okay, so when you're working with it, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I'm pushing the zipper in towards the lining, and I'm going to pin it in place just like that. And when you're sewing over that part of your pouch, you're going to have to probably help your sewing machine along a little bit. But so right here you can see I'm going to push that zipper end in towards so that it's folded towards the lining edge, and I'm going to pin that in place. And now you are almost done. So all I'm going to do, I have my bag all pinned. I'm going to sew starting from one of the lining, the bottom edge of the lining, all the way around, and I'm going to stop just a couple inches, maybe about 3 inches before I get to where I started, and that's going to leave an opening for you to turn it. And I almost forgot one of the most important things. You want to make sure that you've got your zipper opened halfway so that you'll be able to turn it. So I'm going to reach in here and just open my zipper up, because you're going to turn it inside out. Okay, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to start right around the middle, just a little past the middle, so that I'm leaving an edge for turning. And I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch seam, back stitch a couple to begin with, and just sew all the way around. And this is just about your last step. It's definitely the last major step. And I kind of pull it tight here. Take my pin out before I get there, but make sure, I'm going to just kind of hold it with my finger to make sure that that zipper is pointing the direction I want it to go. And then help it across. Okay, making sure your fabrics are lined up. Keep sewing all the way around. So it's just the little things, but maybe 2 years ago my sewing machine broke and I had to get another one. And I got a sewing machine that has start and stop buttons, so I no longer need a pedal. And it also cuts my thread when I finish a seam. And it's just one of the nicest things about my sewing machine. I love it so much. Okay, so now I am almost to where I started, and I'm going to leave about a 3-inch opening so that I can turn it. You want to leave yourself plenty of room so that you're not trying to stuff it through a really small space. Okay, so now I'm going to, whenever you are sewing something that has right edges, that has corners, you can go around and clip the corners. I'm not getting too close, but I am kind of cutting it so that when you push it out, it's not going to be really bulky around the corners. So now I'm going to turn it through this opening. Just kind of push it through with your fingers, it'll get there. And your bag is pretty much done at this point. The only thing you have left to do, besides just ironing it to make it look nice, is to close that opening on the bottom of the lining. But you're done. And if you'll stick around just a little bit longer, I'll let you in on a few things and show you some variations of bags that I've done before. Okay, so now I've got the lining through. I'm going to pull the outer fabric through, and before I'm ready to push the lining into the outer fabric, I need to close up this seam. So you see, this is where I turned it. So now I'm going to use my fingers to kind of push out the edges. Okay, you can, if you're having a hard time getting it out as much as you'd like, you can use a chopstick or a pencil. Just make sure you don't push too hard and make a hole. So get around all four corners and push it out with your finger. And I'm going to just kind of press this real quick. Okay, so I pressed that opening, and now I'm just going to sew it closed. Now, if you're concerned about seeing the stitch, you can sew it by hand, and you won't see that that seam on the bottom. But I never worry about it. It's on the inside of your bag. I don't think you'll ever notice it. So just clip that corner, push your lining in, and you are done with your zippered pouch. So tell me, did you think that was easy? And there it is. So if you make an assembly line, you can get 3 or 4 or 5 done in a short amount of time, and you can make them all kinds of different ways. So now I am going to give one of these away. I have another zipper pouch in this fun llama material, and I want to give one away. So what I want, if you want a chance to win one, I want you to tell me one of 2 questions. You can answer either one you want. Either tell me what you would put in your pouch if you had a zippered pouch, or tell me who you would give one to this Christmas. And I will randomly select a winner, and I'll give one of them away. But before I close the video, I also wanted to just give you some ideas for other pouches that you can do. So this is the one, it's full right now. This is the one I carry around all the time. But you can add little handles to them. You can, before you sew them together, you can sew just a contrasting strip of fabric on it. And you can make it, if you make a tote bag, make a zippered pouch to match. Anytime I make a purse, I always make a matching pouch. You can also do a rounded edge on your pouch. This one actually has like a pleather, it's a leather look-alike vinyl that I've used for bags before. So you can add, you can make the bottoms rounded, which is a fun look. Always fun to do different colored zippers as well. And then one last thing, this is another pouch. It's really dirty, but it's been used for years. And my kids will put in Army Men or Legos. I've used this to throw in some essential oils before I go on a trip. Really, the more pouches I have, I always find uses for them. So this is just another example of, this one is, a lot longer, whereas this one is a lot wider. So you can cut it to whatever length you want. Now that you know how to do the zippers, sandwiching them in between the material, you can make it fat, you can make it square, you can make it tall. It's whatever you want. Your options are really, really endless. So like I said, I'm going to give one away. So let me know, what would you put in your pouch, or who would you give it to on your list? And if you think that this video is helpful, I would love it if you would share it with friends, maybe who like to sew. And also, just to let you know, I have a lot of other sewing tutorials on my blog, full pictures and easy step-by-step instructions. And if you ever get stuck on something, you can always leave a comment and ask. And I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions, if you're watching this later, just comment below and let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. And as I continue to do sewing projects and Christmas gifts, I will invite you into my workshop and show you some of the things that I'm doing. Which, by the way, I'll just real quick remind you, I did a video of this bag the other day. So this is a toddler purse, and I did a video showing you how to do this. This makes a really fun gift. And then Another thing, I have another gift that I'm about to wrap up, and so here's an infinity scarf. So if you check back on This Pilgrim Life on Facebook, you can find both of those videos. This one, I made the video and the scarf in less than 6 minutes, so or right about 6 minutes. So you can find lots of different gift ideas on my blog and on my Facebook page. So I hope that you have a great night, and Merry Christmas early.